I heard my colleague earlier, Senator Schumer, talk about visiting a picket line for the United Auto Workers this morning. I did the same thing yesterday morning in Bolingbrook, Illinois. A UAW local warehouse workers were out on the line, drinking coffee and eating a few donuts, holding their signs in solidarity with their union. I wanted to walk over there and be there with them at this moment. You have to understand, when a worker like a UAW worker goes on strike, they are really walking away from their regular paycheck and receiving emergency pay from the unions, which historically has never quite been the same or as much. The same thing is true when it comes to medical benefits. They may lose the coverage that they had in the workplace and have a union program as an alternative that doesn't provide the same level of benefits. What I'm trying to get to is the bottom line is these strikes are personal and family sacrifice on behalf of the workers. Why would they do that? Why would they walk off the job? Why would they stand in the cold or in the outside weather from time to time like this? Because there's more at stake than their own personal well-being. They are fighting not only for their fellow members of the union, they're fighting for working people all over the United States. The organized labor movement, which I was happy to be a child of a union family growing up, really made a difference in the life of America. The 40-hour work week, overtime, vacation, health care benefits, pension, virtually every one of those elements that are part of a modern job, a good modern job, were fought for and sometimes died for by those who were working in the labor movement in the earliest days. The UAW is a good example. It was back in the 1940s when a young fellow named Walter Reuther decided to make the UAW a viable force in Detroit, Michigan. There was a famous confrontation at a River Rouge plant where the UAW workers were on strike and violence broke out. Some people were seriously injured. Those sacrifices were made and America changed as a result of it. Now the modern struggle of the UAW is not unlike that of the 1940s. The president of the UAW, Mr. Fain, came by my office several times to talk about his goals. He made it clear, and we all knew the answer, that when it came to the question of the survival of these automobile makers in 2008, when the economy plunged, it was the workers who stood up and said, we'll make sacrifices and changes so these companies can survive. Some people, even those people on the floor of the Senate, were arguing, let them go. That's capitalism. There are winners and losers. But President Obama and I and many others felt just the opposite. Automobile manufacturing is a critical part of the American economy, and President Obama was determined to keep those companies alive during that period of time. UAW did its part and did it well. They sacrificed wages and benefits. They said that the new workers would be paid dramatically less than those that had been there for years, and they literally saved those companies. Now those companies are profitable to the tune of billions of dollars a year. And what the UAW is saying, for goodness sakes, make sure the workers are part of the success story too. Don't let them read in the papers about how much money the company's making while they're breaking their backs to make the products that are successful. And that's what this strike is all about. There was a time not that long ago, in the early 60s, when the executives of automobile companies and similar corporations were making about 30 times the wages of those who were working on production lines. Now the number's 500 times. The three executives that lead the automobile manufacturers all make over $20 million a year, each and every one of them. I believe the one from General Motors makes $29 million a year. Meanwhile, the wages for the executives have gone up 40% in the last 5 years, and for the workers, 6%. So there is a disparity there that needs to be addressed and done fairly. We want to make sure that the companies are profitable, that they build products that we're proud of, but we also want to make sure that the workers who are sacrificing every single day share in that profitability, share in that productivity. And they can do it if they're part of the contract that's now being negotiated. So I was out there on the line for about a half an hour yesterday saying hello to the workers and encouraging them to be strong during this period. It's a time of personal sacrifice, but it's well worth it, not only for their sisters and brothers in the union, but for workers all over America who will prosper with the achievements that are made by the UAW. I'm proud to have had their support over the years, and I'm proud to stand with them in this time of challenge. Mr. President, I yield the floor.